Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video, taking a break from my First Descendant stuff, even though I am probably going to be playing First Descendant again by the end of the evening here. Had to come back, obviously, for the launch of Act 2. We got a preview of what was coming a little while ago in like a mini Vidoc they did. I was pretty impressed with the volume of what they said was coming. I thought it was just going to be like new maps for existing activities. Instead, it is 3 all-new Battlegrounds, 2 of which launched today, in addition to like more story stuff and whatever. 3 weapons, and I don't know, that's it. They're doing balance patch stuff later, but that didn't come today. I am impressed. Again, they went over this in the Act 2 Vidoc, but the Battlegrounds that they introduced here are really substantive. I don't really see any meaningful difference between them and Strikes now. I know everyone has been conditioned to sort of hate Battlegrounds, and a lot of the old Battlegrounds are, you know, 80% going through old level spaces and kind of just maximizing what exists. Like, oh, you gotta take over points A, B, and C in like the main patrol area of Mars. And then eventually you might get to like one new room, and then a boss room that is kind of shared by multiple bosses, or, you know, one boss across 3 different rooms. It's something similar like that. Here, at least in these two, you do start on like the outside of Nessus and the Well of Flame, Altar of Flame, for the beginning of one, but from there, everything else that I can tell is a new space. I might be missing a thing or two, but it's a lot of new geometry they've made for this. It really is. And I don't know how these are meaningfully different than Strikes now. Like the end of the first one has like 2 separate bosses where there's like a fallen boss keeping a Vex Hydra boss captive, and you have to kill both of them in this arena. And then the next one is fighting a giant Minotaur who's immune with a few different things in this really long like corridor area. All of these, you know, I've only played them at story mode right now, so they're pretty easy. But that's, you know, we're not going to judge on that, and I can see how these would certainly be harder once they, you know, convert them into Nightfalls and GMs and stuff. Again, they just seem like Strikes to me. Like they, you know, you have your 2 beats of doing whatever, and then you have the boss, and you have connecting corridors. These also have pistons in them, so you can collect Radiolite for more rewards at the end, so they're more rewarding than Strikes are, certainly, given all the seasonal stuff you can get. I just don't see them as anything besides, you know, at least 90% of the way to a Strike. I didn't time them, but I would be surprised if they were meaningfully different in terms of time. Yeah, so that is impressive to me. It's not like even if it was like 3 types of Battlegrounds that people don't like, if they're like the old kind, that would still be a lot of content in addition to the stuff we've already gotten, which was, you know, not the most, but it was a whole timed thing, you know, all these different phases of the patrol map thing. They at least added 1 new kind of minigame thing to that, but like now we have 3 new Battlegrounds. We're going to get something next time. I think maybe the main thing will be the exotic mission, but maybe there's more too. And I think they've done a good job here, and so far, you know, episodes are delivering on content and volume. Other stuff, okay, so they time gated the weapons, as we know. There's 3 weapons, including the new solar sidearm. Don't freak out like I did, because I got a sidearm from the first mission, and I immediately went to the helm to try and craft it and you spend all my engrams on it. You can't do that. You have to beat step 2 of the mission, which is doing a piston and collecting things, and then you come back, and then they will appear. But you still can't focus them. You got to do another thing, which I think, because people are crafting stuff, but I wanted to stop and record this video, I think it's like the end of the specimen quest this week, which will give you the upgrade thing. Like there's a whole new list of upgrades that you got to do for failsafe. I think you'll be able to get it by the end of that quest, and then you can start crafting your heart's content. I have only used the solar sidearm. I got an ambitious assassin incandescent, which is pretty good on its own, honestly. As you might expect, a solar rocket sidearm with incandescent is good and feels good to play with, and all these rocket sidearms feel amazing. I think that's pretty clear by now, and they are probably headed toward a nerf at some point, but while we can enjoy them, we will. This is an interesting one because it doesn't have lead for gold, so you sort of have to improvise different ways to kind of make it a primary, and it's got a lot of different combinations compared to the old ones. There's some, interesting rolls past just incandescent. I wrote a whole roll article today. I haven't used the pulse yet, and I haven't unlocked perfect paradox yet. I don't know how you unlock that yet. Maybe that's not this week. I'm not sure. Regardless, that time gating does not feel great. I don't know. Like, I get it, but it still is a little annoying. And then there's more time gating even once it launches, at least a little bit. Maybe you can get perfect paradox this week. I'm not sure. Story stuff. I mean, we're back for our new act, and we're chasing the Radioloria down into Nessus, where it's pooling for some reason. There's a little cutscene you get from Ikora at the beginning that is like, the Collector has the Echo and is controlling Vex with it. I'm like, yeah, we knew that, I think. And she controlled Saint with it. Saint is still having an existential crisis. I've had a little trouble taking this seriously because, like, we do all these dimensional variant things, and like he's been reset 14 times, and like if he still remembers Osiris, like that's fine, right? Like, what's the big deal? Well, okay, so now things are starting to diverge a little bit, where there's a radio message where Saint asks Osiris when Saint said he loved him for the first time, and Osiris has one memory and Saint has another. So they did live in different timelines where even if they ended up together, it's like different memories, and he's not his Saint, he's not Osiris, and like Osiris like doesn't give a shit, but Saint's like freaking out about it, which, yeah, okay, I can understand that now. If you have like different memories of your entire relationship with someone, that would be jarring to say the least. We don't know where the quote-unquote real Saint is, or if he will show up at any given time. It doesn't seem like it. He's probably dead like he's supposed to be. So, I'm kind of invested in this. I wish we were getting more on the Conductor 4 weeks in, other than the Conductor exists and is controlling Vex with the Echoes. Like, I think that's pretty clear at this point. But, we have got 2 more weeks, and then I assume the story shuts off again. And then we wait another 3 weeks. Again, this is not going to be how it works. In the next episode, they are going to drop all 3 weeks of story content at once per act. Good and bad there. On the plus side, I wouldn't be saying this. Maybe we'd have some significant character development if we could just play everything today. That'll be a really busy, really busy day when that launches for all of us content creators here. But then you have 5 weeks off of nothing. So, the whole play at your own pace thing sounds good in theory, but for harder core players, everyone's just going to blow through it and then probably complain about that. I'm going to try not to complain about that because, like, I don't know. With the whole, I don't think either way is really good. I think compared to seasons where, yeah, there was dead time at the end of the season, but you log in every day or every week for 7, 8, whatever weeks and get a story beat. And then you knew there was a break, but 3 on, 3 off feels bad. 1 super on, 5 off does not feel great either from what I can imagine. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here. Maybe they just do the acts all in a row, and then Act 3 is super long with a bunch of tail time. I don't know. So I will be at least trying to complete the specimen quest, focusing what engrams I do have, and waiting for next week. I have a lot more stuff to grind in the First Ascendant, which has like infinite grinds. I'm approaching 100 hours of that game in 2 weeks. Maybe some of that is idle time, but not that much. So, needless to say, that still has its hooks in me. It's not like I didn't like coming back. I think those Battlegrounds are impressive, given that they're essentially strikes. I assume the one next week will also be all new geometry, considering that they start one after the other. So that will be interesting. And yeah, we'll see what happens then. But for now, I mean, I think in terms of total content that the episode is delivering, it's just a matter of like the cadence of this, the time gating. Oh, that reminds me, I need to go get my 20 battle pass levels I just unlocked because I turned in all my challenges I was saving. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.